So, as the Baltimore Ravens officially turn the page on their bye week, we look forward to the rest of the season and the upcoming playoffs.
But wait! There's more!
And today I am going to give you 5 reasons why the Baltimore Ravens can make a run towards the Super Bowl. So far, the Baltimore Ravens season has not gone the way that many of us planned. We thought that we would be leading the division, challenging for the #1 overall seed in the AFC, but that has not been it. Whether it has been play calling, lackluster play, injuries, or just baffling decisions, the Ravens have not lived up to their fullest potential. But as we enter the back 9 of the 2024 NFL season, the Ravens are sitting in a good place. It's not the greatest, but it is a good place overall. They are currently the 5th seed in the AFC playoffs with an opportunity to move up. As the way things go right now, they are on a collision course with seeing the Houston Texans in the playoffs, a team in which they also play on Christmas Day. But as of right now, the potential is limitless. The Baltimore Ravens were voted the most dangerous wildcard team. Looking at the other wildcard teams, of course we're the most dangerous. We beat both of them. We beat the Los Angeles Chargers 2 weeks ago. We beat the Denver Broncos, which had a great defense, and we just bludgeoned them to death. So of course the Ravens are considered the most dangerous wildcard team. But that does not mean that the Ravens are going to end up in a wildcard situation. There are still 4 games left in the season. The Steelers have a gauntlet to go through to end their season, so there is a possibility that the Ravens could still win the AFC North. But pushing all that aside, I'm going to give you the 5 reasons why the Baltimore Ravens can still go on a run to where the Ravens can still make their optimum goal and still go to the place where us as Ravens fans thought that the team should have properly been all along. And starting off with reason number 5. So the 5th reason that the Baltimore Ravens, in my opinion, can make a run for the rest of the season into the playoffs is their defensive improvement. Yes, for the majority of the season, the Baltimore Ravens have been the 32nd or 31st ranked pass defense in the league, and currently, as it stands right now, they are still 32nd. I don't know how that is because with roster manipulation and some key movements, they have done so much better versus the last 3 opponents. In the last 3 games, the Ravens have given up 18, 23, and 24 points during the game. And despite some horrid showings early on during the season, they've given up 181 yards, 202 yards, and most recently 112 yards to the Philadelphia Eagles. So to hold 2 teams under 200 yards and a third under 250 is amazing. So I don't understand how they're still 32nd in the league. But yards alone is not indicative of how well a defense is playing. We can see it with our eyes. We can tell that, hey, they're not giving up the chunk plays that they normally do. And for the most part, they have shut down some pretty decent passing attacks. But for some reason, the offense has regressed and put the defense in some peculiar situations, which is the main reason that they've given up the points that they have, just not the yardage. For all that it's worth, to me, that defense improvement is just on an upward trajectory, and the Ravens are actually finding their footing. Zach Orr is finding his place as a play caller in the NFL, and that does nothing but bode well for the Ravens going forward because we need them to be able to slow some of these teams down during the playoffs. Reason number 4. And this has been a staple for a lot of the Ravens' failures in the past. It's been a reason that the Ravens may not have gone as far as they could have. And number 4 is health. The Ravens are relatively healthy at this moment throughout the season. Rashad Bateman and Kyle Van Noy just returned to practice. Keaton Mitchell seems to be on the mend. So there is nothing really serious going on that the Ravens have to deal with going forward. And one of their most key defensive players, and Travis Jones, has had an extra week off to heal because we've seen when Travis Jones has not been in the game or he has been hampered, this run defense has suffered greatly. Then you add in Lamar Jackson having another week to get himself together, another week of not putting wear and tear on his body, and he can continue on the trajectory that he has been in for the season. And right now, we need this team to be as healthy as they possibly can be because they play 3 games in the next 10 days. During that short period of time, you may get teams that play 2 games, but the Ravens have to squeeze in 3. I don't know what genius schedule maker decided that this was the move. This is how the Ravens should end their season. I don't know if it's sabotage or if they wanted to slow us down, being that they thought the Ravens were one of the contenders going into the season. But if the Ravens handle their business this upcoming week versus the New York Giants, get in, get out, easy peasy, lemon squeezy, they can rest some of their starters for the majority of the game. Then they head over to Pittsburgh. Then we go Christmas Day to Houston. So health being a factor, people not getting hurt during these next 3 games is going to be paramount for the Ravens to make a run. Reason number 3 that the Ravens can make a run, and that of course would be Derrick Henry. With the Ravens acquiring Derrick Henry, that allowed Lamar Jackson not to have to be the Ravens' leading passer and the team's leading rusher. It takes a lot of wear and tear off of his body. It's going to keep him fresher throughout the season. Those hits accumulate over time, and Derrick Henry has taken the brunt of that punishment. Now, Derrick Henry is second in the NFL with 1,407 yards rushing and 13 touchdowns. This was the acquisition. This was one of the guys that we thought Lamar Jackson needed all along since he became a Baltimore Raven and showed that he was a franchise quarterback. We finally have that running back in place. So when the Ravens make it to the playoffs, we can have no excuses as to why they ran the ball 6 times with their running back. Right now, we have one of the all-time great running backs. Not arguably, the best running back over the last 10 years, who is a big running back built for this time of year, but he also can take the distance. Being that Derrick Henry is 6'3", 250 pounds, he can still run away from defenders. So to me, leaning on Derrick Henry these last 4 games, especially as the weather starts to turn, we start getting into these wintry months and inclement weather. This time of year is what the run game was built for, to take over games, and Derrick Henry is that guy. The good thing is Derrick Henry does not have to do it alone. Keaton Mitchell's back, Justice Hill does a fine job, but Derrick Henry is that guy. He is that main focus. He is 1B to Lamar's 1A when it comes to running the ball. And to me, this can be the difference, and it could have been the difference last year as to why the Ravens go on a run. Reason number 2 that the Ravens could go on a run, and this could easily, to me, be the number 1 reason, but I don't want to be biased each and every video, even though he is the reason that the Ravens are prevalent and prominent in the NFL. And reason number 2 is Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson, regardless of what anybody says on any other team, is the NFL MVP for this season, or at the very least, he is the Baltimore Ravens MVP. Lamar Jackson has upped his game to a whole nother level. And I know that there is a debate on whether or not he should run more, he should take open lanes, but this is the reason why we had number 3. Derrick Henry. He's supposed to run the ball. That's what he gets paid to do. But I digress. Lamar Jackson this year, as it currently stands, is the 7th leading passer in the NFL when it comes to yardage. He has 3,290 passing yards, which is about 400 off of his career high with 4 games left to play. So barring injury, not wood, Lamar Jackson is going to get a career high. Lamar Jackson is going to pass for over 4,000 yards during this season. Now, when it comes to touchdown to interception ratio, he has 29 touchdowns to 3 interceptions. The 29 touchdowns is only second to Joe Burrow in the league. And Lamar Jackson has done this without the likes of a Jamar Chase. So if you actually put in perspective what he has done with the talent that is surrounding him at the skill positions, amazing work. And Lamar just puts this team on his back week in and week out. And he alone may be the greatest reason that the Baltimore Ravens can go on a run, because when Lamar Jackson is on and doing his thing, this team is truly unstoppable. Oh yeah, and then let's just throw in the 678 yards rushing that he has. On a season where he doesn't even try to run the ball, he has darn near 700 yards rushing. And if he wanted to, I believe he could be the first player in NFL history to pass for 4,000 and rush 4,000. But that is not his goal. His goal isn't statistical. His goal is winning. And this is something that Lamar Jackson has proven to be throughout his NFL career. So I don't see that stopping anytime soon. And the number 1 reason that I believe that the Baltimore Ravens are going to go on a run this season is there are truly no dominant teams in the AFC. Yes, we have the 1-loss Kansas City Chiefs, we have the 3-loss Steelers, we have the 3-loss Buffalo Bills, but to me, none of those teams have been dominant. If you look at the Chiefs in their season, man, the football gods have blessed this team like no one else in NFL history. If you look at the doink field goal that they just made on Sunday night, if you looked at the fumble with the Raiders game, if you looked at the block field goal versus the Denver Broncos, like they have had games where they should have lost. But for some reason, some miracle, they won. And Kansas City has not looked like Kansas City offensively throughout this year. Now, defensively, I thought that they were going to carry this team, but they have been suspect. Look at what the Chargers did. They had Quentin Johnson out there looking like prime A.J. Brown. So the Kansas City Chiefs can be had. And I know we said the same thing last year when the AFC was softer and we thought that we had this direct path to a Super Bowl. Well, the football gods are shining in our favor this time, where the AFC is truly not dominant. If you look at the 2 seed Buffalo Bills, the Ravens have already smacked them around 35-10. So we proved that they're beatable. Like, we shut Josh Allen, the supposed MVP, all the way down. And then you look at the Rams game, they have given up one of the worst statistical performances that a defense could probably in the last 20 years. So that team does not scare me. We've already beaten them. Then we come up on the 3rd seed Pittsburgh Steelers. Yes, they have 3 losses. Yes, we've lost to them. And yes, we can't win, blah, blah, blah. But they are not a truly dominant team. They are not scary offensively. Defense is what they have to hang their hat on. But offensively, they've done pretty well. And it's not something that cannot be stopped. We shut them down the last time that we played them, leading to 6 field goals. If the offense can get it together and the defense can play well at the same damn time, the Ravens should have no problem getting through the AFC. And I know all of this is easier said than done. It's a lot of lip service. But to me, with these 5 reasons, you combine all of these aspects, the Baltimore Ravens can actually go on a run and still make it to a Super Bowl. So the rest of our season is right in front of us. It is just dependent upon what we do as a team. It's just dependent upon how our players play and how these coaches end up coaching these games. Hopefully we have learned from our past mistakes and we can move on and be a better team. And hopefully this week off help the Baltimore Ravens regenerate, rejuvenate, and reorganize their priorities. And we can go on a run that leads us to the ultimate goal, which is that elusive Super Bowl.
Nah, man, I'm cool.